Okay, so entrepreneurship is not as glamorous as it may appear on social media. I'm going to give you some inside perspective as I'm coming up on my third year of my journey as an entrepreneur. This is just like a little breakdown of how this situation came about. So I had left my serving job in July 2019, and I was like almost all the way through August, and I was like trying to get out of this little like unhealthy relationship dynamic that I was like kind of stuck in, and I was like really struggling to get out of it. And like my relationship with myself and my intuition had been improving like significantly up to this point. And I was like going for a walk one day, and I was like really connecting with myself, like to the point where it's like, you know, when you click in and you're like, all three of you are aligned, and you're like, oh my God, I want to stay here forever. And you're just like walking on clouds or whatever. I was in that, like that feeling. And then like all of a sudden, like, dude like popped up in my head, and I was like hella like starry-eyed and abundant, and then I was just like out of nowhere I heard like no, and it was like a strong firm ass like, this is your daddy speaking, like no, you feel me? And I was like, oh shit. And like usually when my intuition is like really trying to get through to me or whatever, like some type of like synchronicity appears in the physical world or whatever. And so I like looked down to my right, and there was like a full unopened um pack of Russian cream backwoods. And I was like, yo, this is funny as hell. I was like, all right, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna like entertain this anymore. I'm not gonna like deal with him no more, whatever. Cool. So then like a couple of days pass by and this fool hella pops up at my crib, and I'm just like, damn, what the fuck, you know? And I was like trying to shake it off or whatever, shake him off me and stuff, but I was just like obviously struggling still. So that interaction that day between us like literally totally fucked up my abundance frequency. And it's not the first time I noticed it with him. And like honestly, this has probably happened with other of my exes before that were like draining me, but I just like wasn't this in tune with myself as I am now. But like just being around dude would literally like fuck up my bag. Like this has happened like multiple times. So whatever, after this happened, my money like slowed down a lot, and it was dead in the middle of low season down here. So I basically realized, I was like, damn, I'm about to I'm about to like run out of food and stuff. So I kind of like realized that I was about to like partake in an only water fast, because I literally didn't say it out loud, I didn't look it up, nothing, but like it kept popping up on my YouTube feed. And then I was like, fuck, I'm about to run out of food, like this is crazy. I've done like intermittent fasting and like other types of like elimination diet, but I never like only drank water before. And I was like scared and stuff. My mind started bugging out. But then like I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna surrender. So first I was like, is this punishment because I allowed this dusty ass bullshit back into my life? But I actually realized that it was like a cleanse. So it was like a blessing in disguise, but it was just like, I never been through that before. So I want to share like, well, my experience with y'all. Just in case you like want to do this, or you're about to unwillingly low-key go through this. Yeah, so I like took a couple of days to prepare myself mentally, because I was like, okay, I have enough food for like 2 or 3 more days, and like, okay, whatever. So this is what I learned and I experienced. So all of my muscles let go, which was great because I had a ton of chronic tension and muscle imbalances still from the car accident I was in a few years ago. I also understood on a deeper level that this was like a major act of surrender. And like besides impulsively moving to Miami and then going through homelessness, it was probably like the biggest test of faith that I can remember experiencing in this lifetime. And like, even though my mind was uncomfortable, I did feel and know on a deeper level that like this was for my highest good, and I knew I was okay. Like, I knew I was safe. It was the same kind of feeling like when I was homeless. It was like, yeah, this shit is fucked up, and like it appears hella like unstable and stuff, but at the same time, like, I just knew I was being covered and I knew I was okay, you know? So then, like, little by little, I actually began realizing that this was like a global cleansing that was going on, and I was becoming like a newer, cleaner, updated, like, version of myself. And I honestly, like, wasn't gonna be able to vibrate like at this new frequency without clearing out some of like my old cells and like stored trauma and density that like I hadn't processed out of my body yet. I also recognized that like my right shoulder, jaw, and neck issues were due to weak lats and obliques on both sides, but specifically my left side. I also recognized that my left leg was just like a lot weaker and needed strengthening, like all parts of my left leg, but specifically like my upper thigh. Let me stop. And then I like finally was like believing in myself again, because entrepreneurship is hella confusing. Like, there's just so much goddamn information out there, and it's just like a million people's perspectives, and you're just like, what the fuck do I do? And like, at the end of the day, you kind of just like, you can take in people's information, but you just gotta go with it, because it's like, if God give you that blueprint and stuff and you feel it in your soul, this is what you're doing, like, this is what you're doing, you know? So like, I got back to like believing in myself again, and like in a different way, and like fear actually started to like melt away. Fire. Okay, so reality slows way down when you're not eating. Like, I was present and everything around me was moving at its usual pace, but I kind of felt like I was in a movie, or like not fully outside of my body, but it was almost like I was like accessing an aspect of me that is like deeper in me, or it's like behind like the usual me that I operate from. Like, for example, like if the usual me is like right here behind my eyes, it felt like I was like here. And you know what's weird about this too? Like, when I first got hit by that car, like, obviously I had like back injury, head injury, spiritual injuries. Let me stop. But I used to feel like that too. Like, I used to feel like I was like behind myself. So I experienced extreme moments of clarity, focus, and I received like new ideas and epiphanies. I allowed myself to rest more, because usually I'm like working, trying to get stuff done. But like, I just like surrendered and like allowed myself to actually rest, because like I didn't have enough energy to like sit up at times, you know? And I was just like basically forced to like listen to my body and respect it and be present inside of my body. At this point, I was like literally honoring and like basking in my feminine energy, and it felt so good to like be in this state of surrender and like love and support. And like, I had like a really interesting like moment of like, I really needed to take a look at like my masculine energy and be like, dude, you're overpowering us. Like, this is not it. Like, I want to be a feminine woman. Like, this is OD. Like, we can't live like this. Like, working so much and just going ham. Like, no. So like, I had like a nice interaction between the two energies, where it was like forgiving and stuff, but it was like really clear, and I like saw some of like brokenness in my masculine energy, and like, it was like sad but interesting. Oh, and like, one thing that was cool was like, I was actually just able to appreciate that I was safe and okay. Even like in this perceived state of lack, like, and I was like low energy or whatever, but like, I knew I was okay. It was like weird. I realized that I needed to set healthy emotional boundaries with myself, family, and others. And like, I need to stop suppressing my feelings or like eating them, and like stop running away from myself, because like you really can't run forever. And like, you can't just push it down, because then you're going to end up like developing like reflux. So it's gonna come up one way or another, so why not just like process it and then like speak your truth from like a balanced, healed state, you know? I also learned how to appreciate the essence of things without consuming them. Like, do you know how spirits like appreciate the essence of like alcohol or like treats or cigars or like tobacco? It was kind of like that. Like, I could walk outside and like I could like appreciate the smells like wafting out of the restaurants, but I like wasn't hungry and I wasn't like tempted. I was just like, like that smells so good, you know? And I also just like gained a larger appreciation for food and like really improved my relationship with food. Overall, this time fasting gave me space to really just like change my diet around and come up with like a plan of how I was gonna like return to eating, and how I could like continue to eat once I transitioned back into eating. Okay. I didn't duty the whole time. Like, I only urinated, and I thought that was so fire. Like, I was like, this is so lit. Like, you literally don't duty because you're not eating. You just pee. Awkward. Then, like, at this time, I actually got hip to Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps to Financial Freedom plan and the debt-free charts, and also this Instagram page called Debt Free Gonna Be. And like, she was showing how you can eat for under $10 a day by meal prepping. So I was like taking all of this in as I was gonna move forward, you know. At night it was kind of hard for me to sleep. Like, I would only sleep like a couple hours. And I think I did probably kind of like low-key hallucinate a little bit. Not like when you're on psychedelics, it's like different. You don't like see things, but you're just like the best way I could explain it for me was like, you feel like you're behind your consciousness, or you're in a consciousness behind your consciousness or something. It's like weird. But like at night, no funny, like I would cry. I would literally cry to God and be like, can you please just change something? Like, I'm hungry. Please, like, I want to eat. Can we just end this fast, please? Like, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I won't deal with no dust. Like, please. I just want to eat again, you know? Anyway, so this lasted for like 8 or 9 days. And then finally, some bread came through, and I was able to eat right before Hurricane Dorian hit. So overall, I would say it's like, it was a pretty intense experience, but I'm grateful that I made it through it, because I learned a lot about myself, and I also gained like a lot of strength by noticing how I was able to remain resilient and focused and dedicated and disciplined under intense pressure, and like I didn't fold once again. Feel me? So